All right, welcome back to What's the Sweet? This episode 2. I'm your host Jonathan. I'm here with Jonathan Jr. Obviously, Drip God. Look at the Jordans on my man's head, and
Yes, sir.
also with Shipper. Today's subject is: do you guys think GB is worth it? So, GB has loads of programs. You have Youth Contact, Junior Contact, Adult Contact. You've got Junior Flag, Youth Flag, Adult Flag, University Flag, Women's Contact, Women's flag as well. Also have GB Students Flag and Contact.
That's bad.
Yep. So you got loads of programs going on. But in your opinions, what do you think about GB?
I think it's important. I think it's calm. Like I think it's good. It's a good program.
But what makes you say that?
From all of the programs, all the programs you listed, I didn't even know half of them existed.
So what do you think it was? Just you just show up and that's it?
Nah, like men's contact flag, women's contact flag, like juniors or stuff like that. Not like, I don't know, students and stuff. You named a lot.
Yeah. So students is for university, so you lot are a bit out of that age range, but soon come. I think you have to be max 25 as well. So
for what?
you're deep. No, for uni GB.
Oh.
What do you think?
I think it's a good program. I already had looked at the website, so I already knew about all the stuff that they do. I think it's good.
You just actually reminded me. You've been in contact with some of the women's GB players, haven't you?
I think she does actually. Yeah, I have. I think she does. But I know that she's basically the person I spoke to. I know that she's a quarterback, but I don't know if she plays for GB.
Well, you don't know her, but you know of her, Phoebe Schechter. She plays receiver, running back, linebacker. I think she might do a bit of DB as well.
I feel like she plays in every position.
If you watch any of the women's GB tape, she's probably on almost every single play. She's really out there.
So I have spoken to the quarterback.
Okay, so what was your impression?
She's really nice.
So
she gave me some tips as well.
That's what I was going to ask. Did she give you any advice on whether GB is good for you or how to get there and so on?
I mean, I didn't really ask specifically about GB. We more so spoke about quarterback training and how to stay motivated and how to become better at the position type of thing. But in terms of actual looking to play for GB or trial for GB, I've spoken to Coach Kenny.
So just people who know, Kenny is UK Dukes Kenny, who does spin a lot for football. Speaking of which, Kenny is GB Women's flag receiver coach, if I remember correctly, and also plays on the GB Men's flag. So do you two have aspirations to play for GB then?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to play for GB.
Even though you would have to pay?
Well, I think it's absolute fraud, but mind the fact that I think it's good. I think it's a good name to have when you played for GB, you played for the nation. You can say you was chosen by the nation. You know what I mean? I think it's a good name to you can say, oh, I played for GB.
I agree.
So you're saying you would think it's an honor that you played for GB?
Yeah.
What if I told you some people think that honor gets taken away once the thought of you having to pay to play? What would you say to that?
Well, then I don't know. Then that's people just thinking everything comes free just because for the nation. I think if you really want to play, then you just have to just firm it one time and just pay it.
one time. What if you get selected multiple times?
Yeah, fam, it like,
I can't lie, the
like
privilege
nothing comes
is
free,
different.
really. I mean, nothing comes free. I think you have to invest like in your future, as you can see. Like, if you want something, then you want to go and do it. If you feel like, yeah, I want to play for GB. Me personally, if GB said, "Oh, this is the price you have to pay," and if it's a reasonable price, then I would pay it just to play.
What was your point, Shafa?
I feel like going to a trial and like being chosen is the reward type of thing, and to be able to fulfill it, I think you should be able to pay like this. Like, it's not, I can assume it's not a small price, but to just be able to give that to get back for your future, if that makes sense.
So what you're saying is you don't necessarily have to be a baller to be a baller in GB. It's an investment into your future. So like you lot go to school, do your subjects, hopefully get good grades. You're investing in your future into getting good jobs or going to good universities.
Yeah, and to be honest, I feel like I'd rather pay a fee I'd rather pay a fee to play for GB than to pay a fee to play for a bad team. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but I think it makes sense.
Who said GB is good though?
No, but like.
Oh.
Okay, cool. Because they play games like against European teams, right? So, and there's good opportunities in Europe when it comes to American football.
So that's actually a good point. For you, Jonathan, you're going to get shagged because the male side of GB, no, it's not really cutting it right now. Shifa, she can do all right. They're top 7 in the world.
In the team, like not doing
good. So I think they only beat Russia, and then they went to go play Sweden and they got smoked. Well, that's
I feel like Sweden had a good team.
Who?
Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden are serious. So that was the adults. The juniors, they haven't done too well the last few years from what I remember, and whatever. But like I said, women's is like top 7 in the world, something like that.
The 7th.
I don't remember the exact number. So I think they're like top 5. But I just added like a couple of numbers on top. So
you see, like if Vanderson came and I just be on the team, top 5 minimum.
So at what position, big man? Go on.
I ain't got nothing more to say. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. At what position are you going top 5?
I hope some DB coaches are watching this right now, and like I'm being serious. Like I'll improve your team massively. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. At what position? You haven't answered.
Yeah, wide receiver, like a linebacker. The way I'll take the flags, it's mad. Or we can play contact and I'll do you guys in.
Oh, sorry, bad boy.
Ooh, scary.
So what you're saying, you want to apply for both contact and flag?
Yeah.
So again, going back to the fees, do you think you will have the funds to back that?
Well, it depends on the prices.
Find the funds.
Choose from that.
So obviously, you lot are still young. You don't have jobs, so it's not, the money's not coming directly from you. Do you think your parents will back you?
Yes.
They'll definitely help me in one of them at least.
Yes.
What? Because I know some of the prices that people are paying. So I know people, when they had I think it was the Sweden game, the men's contact, they paid £250 to travel up North London.
Just to North London?
Yep.
I would have took my
car.
You got a car now. Come on.
Would have asked my mum to drop me there.
Yes, I imagine this is somewhere you can drive within an hour, but you're still paying that kind of money.
Why would they pay that for, like, travel?
I'm not part of GB. I'm not involved in any of that. But it wouldn't be for travel. It may go towards so paying for refs, paying for the fields, paying for food, equipment, game day management, possibly even coverage. So I think that game got live streamed on YouTube, so they had commentators as well, and all that kind of stuff.
Did they not give you free kit and free stuff?
Do you have to pay for the kit?
You don't keep it. Like, you don't take it home.
How do I know it's clean?
Sniff it? I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Like, I should sniff it.
But what I really want to say, so obviously you lot are playing in junior age. So main positives for you, your kind of age.
That's cap.
You're not at the age.
At women's, you can trial at 16 with parental consent.
But you won't play. You're not 17.
That's not very nice, is it? It's not very nice.
Let me finish my point. The main positive, so not really for you, Shifa, more for Jonathan, is so Jonathan right now playing either 7 or 9-a-side football. But if he was to play GB, he's going straight into 11-a-side football. So the positive from that is if he wanted to get recruited for college or high school, he's now got tape of saying, yeah, I've played 11-a-side instead of, I haven't really played a proper full game. So now you can see more of how you would relate into an actual game versus other, like in a real game compared to, yeah, I've played 9-a-side, but it's not really the same thing. Yeah. So do you think that would help you, especially since you would be playing against international prospects?
Yeah, I think just like the competition is different as well, because you're going up someone you haven't faced again. Like in the season, you know who you're basically coming up against, and you might study your players, maybe even see them in the park. But like, I think internationally is much different, and the competition is also different, and the attitudes when you're playing also different. So
saying that, do you think knowing, okay, I'm about to go against the best ballers from this and this country, now I need to train harder than what I normally do? Yeah, I think it goes like that. That's why I was gonna say, like, I think it's not like about whoever can afford should be on GB. I think like actual ballers should be on GB. I don't think just random people who just look good should be on GB. I think like actual good players should be on GB. So again, I'm only 19. I don't work. I'm in university. Don't pull that face, Shifa. Let's say I'm at university. All my funds is going towards my house bills and that kind of stuff, and I don't have the money to go to GB. What then? I think GB should also be like more considerate. Like maybe, I don't know, a payment plan or something, or I don't know. Maybe so give out loans. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah.
Or if you feel like a specific degree of excellence, maybe something like a bursary.
But what would you give that for? So let's go again for the student background. So would you say someone who's doing academically well, so getting A stars and A's and that kind of stuff?
Could be, yeah, because then it would be like, for example, if the person's like aiming for like a high score college in the US, then they're gonna consider their, like, if that's their ultimate goal, their academics are gonna be considered anyway. And if they can already show that they have the academics, like what we were speaking about last week, because then the academics will be considered along with the sport.
So that's actually pretty good. So obviously you have under 17, under 19, student. So that could possibly work. But then what happens when you get into adult? Then I think it's your own option, really, because you're an adult now. Like you don't really have much like financial help as an adult. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So now you don't. Well, you may not be with your parent, like living at home with your parents. You may now have kids and so on. So you shelling out however much money it is and whatever, how would they now be able to involve a bursary?
Yeah, I guess she had to answer that one because she came up with that.
That's useless.
Don't actually know.
So do you want to give you some examples that you could do? So commitment to volunteering. So it could be.
I was gonna say that. Sorry.
Say it then. So like, perfect. You've got a Duke of Edinburgh award. You've got silver, right?
I was gonna do silver this year, but Corona.
Well, you've got Duke of Edinburgh. So something like that, where you go and help out your environment, your local community. Like maybe, I don't know, pick up rubbish or paint houses or give out food. Do you think that should help towards people? Because now you're not only getting the pride of playing for your country, you also if you want the bursary and little advantage it gives you, you're not having to give back to your country.
So what it's like giving to your nation to play for your nation.
Yeah, it's like think of it like similar to the help out to eat out scheme, but instead of eating out, you're flying out to play.
Come on, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Think about that. Also think about that. Are you applying are you getting accepted to GB as a baller, or are you doing it to just help the community? Like, what are your real intentions at applying for GB?
That's a good point. Because obviously you guys volunteer for Big Kid now. So that could also help you a lot. You'd be like, okay, these guys have got good academics, good morals. Also, good players. You would now help to fit the criteria of what you want GB to stand for. So instead of being like, oh yeah, we just get guys. So the stigma, that's the right word, of guys who just have the money to play for GB. You now have, okay, these are role models that we have coming out. What do you think that would give GB a better name?
Yeah, I also think that, because then also look at some players, maybe they might not have the good behavior, they might just be good ballers. But so that's happened with many of my friends. Like, they're good football players or like they're good players, but like from like how they behave and their background is like quite rough, and like they might not be accepted by some teams because they're like, you don't have the grades, you don't have the behavior, you're chatty and stuff like that.
So this also brings me to the point is, so some of the players who come from less affluent areas, who may not have the funds to pay, do you think this will also give them initiative to like, okay, work hard, you can now make it to GB, and now you can, give yourself a little bit of a name?
Yeah. But then I feel like,
go on.
I feel like, but then again, it's like, when it comes to school, I feel like even if you're doing well in school, like it becomes difficult to balance school and sport quite a lot. Like sometimes you'll have training, but then you'll have to revise for like an exam, or like a teacher won't be understanding if you haven't completed homework because you was busy with other things, and it will become a thing of, well, you're revising to get the grades to go to GB, for example, but then you run out of time to actually train because some people, for example, might not be as smart to be able to get the bursary. So they would like spend their time revising to get the bursary, but then they might lose some training time. So I feel like that goes back to like having to, like, the education system actually having to understand that there should be a balance as well.
So saying that, let's say now one of you two is now in line to join the England football soccer squad. Do you think you'll get special? Yeah, soccer. So
Soccer.
Let's say traditional English football. Is that better?
Okay, go on.
You lot are in line to join, let's say, the under-19 squad. Do you think you'll get special? Well, I don't want to say like recommendations. That's what's popping in my head. But you get like special conditions for like if you have exams and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you do. Definitely. Most of them have tutors.
Yeah. So now England football squad has now got this, why cannot the same thing be extended to now the GB American football squad?
Well, they'll probably say fundings.
That's what I was thinking.
That's
So
the
now-
only reason, really.
Go on, Shiva.
I feel like it also like depends on the teacher, because I've had like particular teachers where I've said to them, "Hey, miss, can I just have like, a day extension because tonight I have training?" And they'll be like, "Cool," because they know where my priorities are set, type of thing. They know that I still have school as a priority, but that night I might not be able to do the homework for the following day. So it also depends on the individual, but it's more about the bigger picture and actually like, because one teacher can't make all the difference, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So
So what I was going to say was, not all teachers may be as understanding or may
I was
not
about to
come
say
from
that.
like a sports background. I can think of that. But do you also think, because, so let's, again, traditional English football is seen as a professional sport in England, and American football is an amateur sport. Do you think that plays a role into it?
yes.
Maybe. It's just because like this country's really traditional with like no regular football. So they're like I think they overlook American football. They're just like, oh, like we don't really know this sport. They don't really know about the sport. And I don't think they really want to know the sport.
All right, let's change it
I
from
think more-
traditional football. Let's say, so like basketball. So basketball's what's the league that you lot have now?
JBL.
Isn't it BBL?
Yeah.
JBL is the speaker brand.
Oh yeah.
Man trying to get himself
BBL.
sponsored out here. Look at him. So
BBL, yeah.
let's say I want to go. I said to my teacher, "Oh, I'm training for BBL." Do you think I would still get that? Yeah, it's all right. You can slide for this one. You can bring your work in tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it would be better because like I think when you have a country involved, like as a nation, I think it's more serious because anyone can really say, "Oh, I have training for my team tomorrow," or "I have training for my team next week, and I do this work for you the next day." Like it's not really that serious. Like, are you really like? It's just a team, but like it's a nation. Like it really comes like I guess once a time, you know, and like it's really something important. So I think
'Cause I-
teachers should consider the nation one. Yeah, go on.
I feel like when you mention the nation, people are more likely to listen. Like, for example,
Mm.
with me, because I used to dance, I used to like travel quite a bit, like abroad. And it was like, if you were to say, "Oh, I have a performance in North London," people wouldn't take it seriously. But if you were to say, I don't know, "Oh, I'm going to Cyprus to perform and represent the Turkish Cypriot children in Britain," people are like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Like, I feel like when you involve the nation and like it gives a sense of like being important, and people are more likely to be okay with giving certain leniencies, because it's like if you can represent the country, then that means you must be one of the best in the country, meaning that you can take it further.
Mm.
So now this is where you get stuck in a catch-22. For you to play for GB, yeah, and get those, special let-offs from your teachers and whatever, you have to now train at a team. But if you don't train at a team, you can't make GB. So,
Is that a thing?
well, no. But if you don't train, how are you going to improve yourself to make it to GB? So it's going back to your point. So let's say you lot have come to train with wherever, blah, 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 come training with me at some point, and you said, "Teacher, I'm trying to go training here," but it's obviously that's not GB. How would the teacher now kind of gauge, like, oh, they're trying to go to GB, or maybe I should let this one slide because obviously they're working hard to get to there?
I think it just really depends on the teacher. Like some teachers are more understanding. Like they'll be like, "Okay, cool." But like some teachers just really wouldn't care. They'll just be like, "I don't really care if you're playing for GB, the whole nation, the world. Like I just want my work to you in today."
So you lot are still pretty young. So you lot are still in the age where you can still fly out to high school and so on. How well do you
High school
think
ends at 18. Is it under 18?
well, you can, yeah, it's 18, but obviously you can get put back a couple years.
Okay, sorry.
But go back to my question. Do you think GB can lead you towards that kind of route?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But what makes both of you say that?
I just think like people look at you more if you're on GB. Like you would say, "Oh, I played for this team," and then like coaches will just look at you like he's like, "Oh, he's a good player on this team. Like he's good for the league. Coaches respect him, and he played for GB." Like I think GB has like a high name for itself just because it's a nation. Like, oh, he played for France, or he played for Germany, or he played for this. Like scouts and coaches would actually like look at it and consider it to as a recruitment.
So what you're saying
That's
is
what
it helps to raise your profile and overall recognition from coaches internationally on what you're able to do.
I think yeah, it does. I think.
Cool. So with obviously what you lot need to get across to the States or wherever it may be, maybe Europe and whatever, in terms of tape and GB investing in that, how important do you think that is?
I feel like when you play for a national team, you're seen as the best in your nation. So for it to also be recorded playing against the best in other nations, it just produces good tape. Because it's like, oh, you must be the top of the top in your country, playing against the top of the top in another country. And the fact that they record it, just, yeah.
Fair enough. Cool. I think we're going to wrap up here today. Great talking to you. Thank you again, Chef and Jonathan. We'll see you lot again next week.
The drip god. Take care.